How's that grapefruit drink, Dave? Lovely. Lovely. Jose, were you able to grab a beverage?
I just texted my wife and said, want to get me a beer or water or both?
Let me know how that goes for you. Great. Chris? Any drinks? Cool. You're muted. Great. Lovely bottle of water.
I also asked her if she can bring me some.
I just got my sticker on my Yeti. That's all I got.
Tears of Orlando City fans.
Great. Awesome. I'm glad everyone is ready to go. Clearly, we're very well prepared here. And welcome to the Heron Haeds podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for joining us and stopping by here for episode 54 on the Heron Haeds podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching on YouTube live, this is our first live match preview. How about that? Welcome. And if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons. It really helps us. And a huge shout out to our chief Heron Haeds, Matias and Chao and Abu and Ava. Thank you guys so much for your continued generous support. We really appreciate you guys. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. I did not put the little ticker across the bottom. So here's a ticker. All our fun Heron Haeds, our chief Heron Haeds, our regular Heron Haeds. I feel like I owe them a shout out now. So Art, Brian, Kevin, James, Karen, Samuel, Harrison, and Fiona. Thank you guys for the continued support. And all right. So Thursday, we have Inter Miami's first ever CONCACAF Champions Cup match. It is against one of our more fun opponents from last year, Nashville SC. We had some very fun battles with them in the Leagues Cup after Messi joined, and it should be a really fun match. I think they may be without some of their more effective players, more players that move the needle. So I think it could be a really interesting matchup. But I'm excited to jump into it and talk a little bit more about it. So how are you guys feeling after, we're still, I feel like we're still riding the high of the Orlando match. So how are you guys feeling?
Still on cloud nine, I think. Like you said, we're still riding that high. How can you not after a 5-0 win against our biggest rival? But hey, we got another match, big match coming up against Nashville. We have, I don't want to call it bad blood, but we do have some history with them, especially beating them in the Leagues Cup last season. So it's gonna be fun. They're not, like you said, they're not as I would say as good as they were last season when we played them. They are missing a lot. They have some injuries. They're not there yet, but they're still formidable opponent. They still have a few players that could really do some damage. So it's gonna be fun to watch, but it's hard it's hard to go away from the high from this weekend from that match.
It's the Gressel revenge game, right? That's it. That's all I got. I'm just.
Is it?
No. Isn't Gressel play for Columbus? Oh no, this is Nashville.
Yeah, true. It's true.
They're both yellow.
They're yellow. They're yellow. It's all the same thing.
Stupid yellow teams. They all look the same to me. They're all garbage in my opinion. Yeah, so it's not a revenge match. So I have nothing for this one. Everything I had was revolving around this being the Gressel Revenge Tour, and it's not that. So yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for these guys to continue then on their momentum that they showed in their last match. So yeah, we'll just keep it moving.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for Schaffenberg. You guys already know that was one of my favorite players last time we played him, and now we get to see them. And if you guys watched their last CONCACAF matchup, he played very well. He did exactly what he did last time, and yeah, he was basically just whipping a lot of crosses into the box. I think we're gonna see them attempt to do similar things. But yeah, I'm so excited about that matchup we had the other day. It was awesome.
It was awesome. And Man, even still, so much has happened since Saturday. We've had a player now transferring out from the club. We have Redondo, who's going to be, it seems, ready to go on Thursday. And then we got news late today that we have a new player either imminently joining us or very close to joining us. It's a player from Corinthians. Name check, please, someone. But yeah,
Matias Rojas.
Yes, Matias Rojas. And then we also had the big news of Yedlin going out to Cincinnati, which I thought was it's not surprising in the grand scheme of things, but the timing of it is a little surprising because there's no immediate replacement. You could say Gressel probably shifts over for the time being, but really, like, this is coming off the back of his best game at midfield. And now we're going to be like, no, you're going over there. So I think that's going to add like a very interesting wrinkle into what it is that we can do on Thursday and beyond. But yeah, like things have happened. And the top of which is that Redondo does seem ready to go. And I don't know about you guys, but those pictures from training today, he is a stud muffin. Let me tell you. I need a good nickname for him, like Campapi. Maybe Redondapi. No, we'll have to work on it.
Terrible.
All right. Well,
We'll
you
leave
guys
it for the commenters to figure one out there.
Redondadi.
I don't know what you. Oh, sucks, but it's fine.
All right. So let's focus in on this.
By the way, we're live on TikTok at the Heron Haeds. Just wanted to let you guys know that we're watching us live while we're doing live. Just so that we can make our 3 live criteria.
No. Jose, no one cares. Basically, you can tune in and watch a live Jose cam that's just fixed on him. Me. You can kind of hear us in the background, but if you want like a Jose cam, it's almost like a
I was literally just saying that. Just watch me. I was looking into the TikTok, and then I look up here. Look at
Exactly. If you want like a second point of view of Jose, a little bit lower, kind of, it's a very flattering angle. Just visit us on TikTok at the Heron Haeds, and you'll be greeted by Jose's beautiful face. And
then it won't look like my eyes are closed, right? Because it's literally like I'm looking down at my TikTok, and then it looks like right now it looks like I'm sleeping, right? But then I look up here, then it's like that's fine. Nobody cares. Go ahead.
Great stuff.
No. That was a quality piece of content there. I'm glad we
I don't
went through
mute,
it.
By the way, on TikTok, I don't mute.
Unfiltered.
So like if I cough, bam.
Imagine.
Live.
Wow. Look what you guys are missing out by being.
We crave.
Please stay on the YouTube platform and these other platforms that you guys are watching, and then just also open TikTok.
Raw and unedited, baby.
Exactly. Raw, unfiltered Jose. Just what everyone wants. Any Hoosiers, Thursday, we take on Nashville. The game is at 9:00. It was like a very specific time. Was it 9:02? It was like a very specific time right after 9. It's going to be...
I don't know.
I thought they were playing Columbus.
Jesus Christ. All right. Well, the game's going to be available on Fox Sports 2, FS2, if you're based in the U.S., and then if you're not based in the U.S., figure it out. I don't know. Because I saw ESPN for the Caribbean and Central America and a couple other countries. I've seen, I think, UDN for some South American countries. But if you're not in the U.S., I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have to figure it out because there's a million different variations of where these games are being shown for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. But if you're U.S.-based, it will be on FS2 shortly after 9 p.m. And what do you guys think of this matchup? Because it doesn't seem like Hani Mukhtar is going to play, or I haven't seen reports stating otherwise. I don't know if Sam Surridge will be available for Nashville. And without those two players, to me, Nashville is just a little hapless in attack. Not very intimidating, and that suits us very well because, like we've said over and over and over again, our defense is our weak point. Even though we've only allowed 2 goals across 3 matches in the MLS, if we can go up against a team that doesn't have like a Hani Mukhtar level player, a Sam Surridge type striker, we we might be seeing like the good old days, close to 70% possession, where we're just on the front foot the whole time.
You
Yeah.
expect something different? Is that what it is? Even if he's, I don't care.
Even if they're healthy, well, if they play,
Care.
I just think I don't know. I just think that the
Thinking
whole
that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. Just we just saw a different team. You know, this is the switch that we've been waiting for. Like, remember what early in the preseason? Remember one of the questions that we were posing? It was, can they flip a switch? Remember? Do you remember when we talked about it? And one of the biggest things was that we all came away with the same thing. To be honest, if we're all being a little bit transparent, we all said we don't think they had the switch. That's what we said, right? Unless somebody's going to backtrack. Yeah. And the reason why we all said that was because they looked old, straight up. But, man, today it looked different. You know what I mean? Well, in Orlando it looked different, man. It looked like yeah, they did pick their spots. Definitely. They picked their dominant spots. I just expect the same thing. I expect the same thing in Nashville, man. I don't see why we would change. Yeah, I think they're a very strong opponent. I think they're strong defensively. They're going to cause havoc, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. Next.
So yeah, this is obviously the biggest match so far this season. It's a CONCACAF match, but we're very lucky Hani Mukhtar isn't playing. We're very lucky that Sam Sturridge is not playing. Their attack doesn't look great, honestly. If you watch the last two MLS matches, I didn't watch their CONCACAF matches, but if you watch their MLS matches, they didn't look potent at all. They were very flat. They couldn't really move the ball up much. The only one that kind of, I don't want to even say dangerous, but the one that kind of looked decent in attack was Tyler Boyd. I think he came from LAFC, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a decent option on the attack. But still, you know, they're missing their spark. They're missing Mukhtar, and that's really the engine that runs that offense. When they're really clicking, it's that Mukhtar has the ball in his feet and he's making plays. So it's gonna be nice to watch. We may be. I'll leave it for the predictions later, but we may be in store for another firework-filled match.
For who?
For Miami.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, look, it's one of those things that. Do you guys remember last year when we played them? Do you remember we actually? Well, not we. I made a name for Mukhtar. Do you guys remember? What we did was we had a doghouse and we put little Mukhtar's head on top, and that's where we had it. We put him in a doghouse. So now you know, okay, Boyd, okay, doghouse. That's it. Now we got Freire. Come on, that Chris, get excited.
Jose getting excited about defense. How about
Woo!
that?
This is a wig today. I like it.
Say, spent 3 days in the hospital for your kid, man. You tell me how. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, David, have some sympathy. Jeez.
No.
All right, so I'm very hopeful that Redondo starts, just flat out starts. I think because of the hole at right back with Yedlin gone, my best guess is that Gressel scoots out to the right back position, and to me, it's just the most logical move to start Redondo from the get-go. His passing ability, his physicality in the midfield, to me, those are all things that are going to be super important in this match. Same goes for his vision. It's going to require a very good set of passes to sort of break down Nashville. They love sitting in a low block. They're super comfortable doing it. They are very sound defensively. So it's going to require a lot of 1-2 touch ball and just finding a way to unlock them. We saw what can happen on the second Luis Suarez goal when you have very clinical, tidy passing. You know, it was a Gressel pass over the top, very nice, and went straight to Suarez in stride, and he put it away. It's going to require plays like that. And Redondo adds to that, concise, accurate passing. So I'm really excited to see what he brings. I'm really excited to see him in our team and how that works. But to me, that is what I'm most excited about. And also, I think that leads straight into our keys to the game. As always, the midfield. Redondo in the midfield is really it's going to show us what we can be this season. Because if he's as good as we think he should be, then it changes a lot. And in games like this where the team's going to sit back a lot and just sort of allow us to have the ball, we're going to see how his creativity can really, really help us get the results in these matches.
Yeah, I agree with the. I agree with the midfield piece. That's going to be the key to the game, but more so transitioning to the forwards and to the attack. Because if these guys are going to be sitting in that low block again, like they did to us last season, then we're going to have to make something happen up there. We're going to have to find a way around it. And hey, we saw some nice pieces against Orlando. We saw some nice passes coming from Gressel. We saw some nice, actually really mostly Gressel's, 2 really nice passes from Gressel. So we're going to need to see that inside the box to really get around that low block. And we said it last episode, Luis Suarez feeds in the box, and I think we're going to see another big game from him. I think he's going to bully the defense a little bit again, and that may be the difference that we need to beat that low block that they showed us last season. I think he's going to be the real key to this game.
Does Nashville have Zimmerman? Do I have that right? Is that the right team this time? Okay. So yes. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch Suarez go up against Zimmerman. Zimmerman, widely respected as one of the best young center backs in the MLS. So that'll be a nice matchup to watch. I also agree with Chris that Suarez is going to be the key to this game. I think he's going to have a big match. I don't think I'm not expecting too much from Redondo in this first match. We all saw how long it took for these guys to really get kind of some momentum going. It took Suarez a few matches, Gressel finally showing a quality match. I think it's unfair to expect Redondo to just hit the ground running when he just got his visa set up and he's been in the country for what, a week and a half. I think we're setting it up for failure for him to get in immediately and just perform miracles from that position. I do think that he'll be the perfect replacement for Busquets, and it'll be fun to watch Busquets play side by side with Redondo once he's fully healthy. But this first match, I don't expect him to do anything too outrageous. But absolutely, I expect that Gressel and Suarez connection to continue, and maybe even more from Messi in this one than we saw in that last match.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally agree with you in the sense of like I think he might be the best midfielder in that game. Come in Nashville. I don't think that it's maybe if Mukhtar was playing, maybe that would be different, but there's a possibility he can just dominate. Because why? Because he's young. He's been here before. He's a great player. He's one of the best players in the midfield. And like you said, I just don't know if it's going to be such a big transition. Just because we're kind of rolling right now, so I think we should be able to help him. And yeah, maybe having Zimmerman, he's gonna be tough, but like I'm pretty sure this guy's handled harder. I mean, I'm not even worried. I'm really not. I'm super high right now. Like it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But yeah, he just came in for a week. It doesn't matter. He's probably better than anyone they're gonna play this year. Doesn't matter. And that's just what I think just from watching his film. If you guys just watch his film, you guys are gonna be impressed by what we're gonna see. Now, maybe he's also coming in, David, with like having to adapt to the team and all that fun stuff, which I would agree with you. But I'm just thinking is maybe his talent alone just can, just that'll be enough.
He's just been meditating, just waiting for this moment.
He'd watch all the film on Zimmerman. He's like, oh, this guy sucks.
So seeing that you guys are obviously split in if Redondo's going to play or not, but the other thing we got to think about, we just sent out, what is it? Yeah, you and Jose, you're split. Your decision.
I think we all say that Redondo's going to play.
Well, I mean start.
No, I don't think he doesn't. I think everybody.
It didn't specify, so you can't box me in.
What we're expecting to see when he does play, like if he's going to play well, or if he's going to play up to his standard, or if he's going to struggle a little bit to get going. I think that's what we're discussing. Not whether or not.
What I was gonna say is that since Yedlin's gone, if Gressel moves over to that right back position, then what does our midfield look like? Does Redondo start? Do we start Ruiz instead? What is that? Is Redondo ready enough to start over Ruiz right away? This is a big match.
Does Ruiz start at right back?
I don't know. We saw it once.
That's the thing with Tata, honestly. Like right now, just getting rid of Yedlin, I think we're just gonna be always wrong with the lineup that he's put out. Like,
do we go with three? Do we go with 3 center backs? I think that might be the
possible.
Where do you put Alba?
Alba will play left wing back. And Gressel is right.
Okay, 5 at the back, Jose. Like in FIFA terms.
Okay, there you go.
But he just plays higher.
What? What are you talking about? What? Okay, so 5 in the back, you're saying, and then have 2 wing backs. Okay, and who put Gressel on right wing back? I think that would make the most sense. But then you're at that point putting 3 center backs, which I think that we're like kind of thinnest at. I guess Noah Allen.
Yeah, I would prefer just 4 at the back, Gressel or Ruiz, or I think Negri is almost ready to come back and get some playtime. So it would be interesting to get him. He's more naturally a left back, but if he has the ability to kind of be a stopgap, that could work. Because it wouldn't surprise me if Tata just kept that midfield trio of Gressel, Busquets, and Gomez, because they've been performing very well. And then just sort of tinkered as a stopgap who's going to be in that right back position, whether it's Ruiz. And we've seen Robert Taylor back there, but hopefully that he keeps him up front where he should be. But I think there is some flexibility. No one on our roster really is perfect to plug in there. Even Gressel's not really perfect for a right back, like a true right back. He's better as a right wing back that gets forward and helps develop the offensive plays. But it wouldn't surprise me if Tata just goes like completely different than what we're saying and just throws someone completely unexpected back there, throws Noah Allen back there, throws Sailor back there. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if Tata just comes out of left field and does something completely different.
I wouldn't be surprised if Noah Allen gets a start over Jordi Alba. I think I've read a report that Alba hadn't practiced all week, that he's been dealing with an illness. So don't be too surprised if Alba's not even in the starting lineup.
That would be concerning.
I was thinking, do you guys think that, all right, I guess at what point does Tata start really rotating players? Do we see I mean, you can't bench Suarez right now, but do you see like a Campana start getting rotated in these midweek matches? Do you see Ruiz getting rotated in for Busquets or Gomez? Do you start seeing some rotation? Like, is this the point where we're going to start to see some rotation? Because we're logging a lot of minutes. We're logging a lot of miles. This match isn't as far as like an LA, but it's still travel. Like it still wears on the players. So what do you guys think about that? Do you guys think anywhere else other than the right back there will be tinkering?
I don't think we see real tinkering, obviously, besides if Jordy's sick or whatever it may be, but I don't think we see any real tinkering until Saturday's match. Saturday's match is opportunity to tinker. We play Montreal, I believe it is. CONCACAF matches are not the ones to tinker. CONCACAF matches you have to put. It's a Sunday match? Okay. The CONCACAF matches are not the ones to tinker. Those are the ones you got to put your best 11 out there and put the pedal to the metal and get your win. You can't mess with that. We could afford, not that I don't think we'll lose to Montreal, even if we do rotate, but we could afford a loss in the MLS season. It's a very long season. CONCACAF, we can't afford it. We have to win it. And to me, that's the biggest prize this season is to go far in CONCACAF and hopefully win it. So.
Oh man, if you guys aren't in the YouTube live, I don't know what you're doing because there's just some quality content going on in the chat. So for Nashville, I think it just comes down to how well they can defend and sit in low block effectively, because it will take a special set of plays to break them down. In the match in the Leagues Cup, we saw a Messi goal just out of nothing. He came in from the right side of the box and he got around Zimmerman, hit a crazy shot, top left corner of the goal, and that game still went to penalties, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's when Drake Callender had like 3 saves in the penalty shootout at the end. That game was really tight. And obviously, Mukhtar not being in makes a big difference. Surge not being in makes a big difference. But I think the effectiveness of their defensive positioning, their structure is really going to make all the difference whether we're successful or not, because if we aren't able to break them down effectively, we can see frustration setting in. Tata isn't the best in-game manager. I think we can all agree. So, I would be worried that he might make the wrong move because of just the banging against the wall with no success. And that would be the only worry for me as far as like, what can Nashville do to get a result? Because it is, at the end of the day, a 2-leg round. It's the round of 16, so it's 2 legs, a home and away. And Nashville would be happy getting a 0-0 draw, a 0-0 draw, and going back to Miami and taking their chances. If they're able to obviously steal points, all the better for them. But they're going to be happy just mucking it up and trying to get away with the draw and then taking their chance in a single game elimination match, essentially. So that's the only worry for me, is if they're able to be very defensively sound and basically make Tata beat them, that's where we might be our weakest. Like, forget the defense. Maybe it's just the in-game adjustments by our manager that could be considered the weakness of this team.
So one of the commenters, Sean Callahan, he said Montreal game should be rotation, but Tata hates rotation. Do you guys agree with that? I feel like last season he rotated a lot.
Guy's the king of rotation.
Questionable rotating. Yes, he does that a lot, but I don't know. I think he does rotate plenty. Maybe
he also, his hand was also forced a lot last season because we had a lot of injuries. And at the point in the season when we really started seeing the rotation, these guys were just running out of gas. Like the matches between the US Open Cup, the Leagues Cup, and league play, we also, on top of just the regular league, we had makeup matches that were postponed from earlier in the season. So like the congestion of matches towards the end of last season, it just, to an extent, that was forced to rotate a lot. Just really quickly here, Tony asks if we know for sure that Mukhtar and Surge are not available. We don't know for sure. There have been no reports that I've seen that have confirmed or denied. I'm mostly just basing it off the fact that they weren't able to play this past weekend, and just the general sentiment, at least on X, is that, and so take that with a grain of salt, is that everyone's kind of just like hoping and praying that they play. It doesn't seem too optimistic. But end of the day, there has been no confirmation and no denial of whether they will play or not. So we're just going to go with the assumption that they won't play because they weren't able to play this past weekend.
That's pretty par for the course for the MLS, for soccer in general. They don't give you much.
So player spotlights.
Last year, we never got anything from Messi. Whenever he was hurt, it was super hard to get anything. So I can't imagine they're gonna tell us anything for just for purposes of like keeping us on. For us not to know. The less we know, the better it is for them as an advantage.
Yeah, it's a competitive advantage, of course. If they don't have to disclose any injury information, then why would they? Because it would allow us to game plan a certain way. So yeah, if they don't have to, then why would they? So let's talk about who from Miami, and I feel like I have to caveat, other than Messi, who is the most important person for Miami to be successful in this match?
I think we saw. I'm kind of split on my decision right now because a little while ago I said Suarez is going to be the key to the game, but I really want to say Gressel because we saw what a difference the attack is with Gressel on point. if he's making the right runs, if he's making the right passes into the box, it's just dangerous. And that's what we've been wanting to see from him since he arrived here, and we hadn't until the last match. So I'm gonna go with Gressel. I think Gressel, and that's, I was gonna say it earlier, but I didn't have a chance really to fit it in. But it kind of scares me if he just plays right back in Tata's scheme, just because he's gonna be running up so much, and I'm scared of him having to make up so much space and coming back on defense, because we've seen he's pretty clunky. He's not a burner like Yedlin was. Yedlin was able to go back and forth as needed. So if I kind of like what I saw in the midfield and him kind of just floating up to the right wing area last match and making the necessary play. So I'm going to go with Gressel as my player to watch for Miami.
Sean Callahan just took my player to watch. I was looking for Sergio Busquets to have a much improved game. He has been trending in the positive direction. Last match, he only had one or two questionable passes, but that's been where we find ourselves in very, very bad spots, is when we have these really catastrophic turnovers and just careless passes that lead to really good chances on the defensive side. So if Busquets has himself a very solid game, like what we were accustomed to seeing when he first joined the club last season, I think this shouldn't be an issue. I have a feeling that Nashville is going to sit in a low block. Our passing is going to be very important. They're going to try to make us pay for any little mistake we make. So if we're just solid in our passing and everybody plays up to their standard, I think this shouldn't be an issue of a game. But yeah, we can't have careless turnovers. They're gonna really force us to be perfect to score. So we can't just give away a stupid goal. So that's gonna be my key. I'm looking for Sergio to be on point.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at you, and you said it, and then you went to Gressel, Chris. I do kind of think Luis Suarez, because just from what we saw in Orlando, right? Like, obviously, when he's at his best, we're a different animal altogether. I don't think there's a team that can, when Luis Suarez, there's nothing anybody can do, straight up. And Orlando, I thought it was gonna be way more competitive, and it's because you have a guy having 2 assists, 2 goals. I mean, what can you do? You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I mean, just off of that, I would say Luis Suarez, but then again, I also think that you're not wrong with Gressel, but not because of why you said it. I think that the reason why Gressel is really important is because luckily my live on TikTok is fine. Hi guys, this is why you go on TikTok. We never mess up here. But the what I was saying was, before I was really interrupted, Gressel, I think the reason why he's important is because assuming that we put him at right back and we do the right thing and we don't put David Ruiz there, which is ridiculous. That's kind of gonna tell us what we saw when we just traded away Yedlin, right? That's it. Long term wise for the team, at least for the now, and not necessarily, because we were also looking back and forth at certain things that we posted on Twitter, that there's a rumor, right, that we were looking at bringing a high profile right back, a certain right back that played with Messi in Barcelona.
What's his name? Jose's referencing Sergei Roberto.
Yeah, on TikTok, they heard my cough. So, but yeah, I mean, Sergei Roberto, I think would be an amazing addition. That's another level that we hadn't seen, that Yedlin was never going to get to. So adding a guy like that would be amazing. But we're not going to talk about him because it's not. You hate talking about rumors. I love it. But But yeah. So Gressel, for example, if he is going to play right back, it'll showcase what how he can contribute from that position.
Yeah, so the player that I'm looking to make a big stamp is Robert Taylor, Jose's favorite player, one of Jose's favorite players. I think after last match, you come away, and obviously all the talk is about Messi and Suarez and Gressel, and rightfully so. They completely stole the show. But Robert Taylor is going to be the one that isn't going to have the double teams every time he goes up the pitch, that isn't going to draw the attention that Suarez and Messi draw. specifically by these very talented Nashville defenders. So if Robert Taylor is able to take advantage of these one-on-one situations, take advantage of the space that is going to be allowed to him because Suarez and Messi are such centers of gravity, then he's going to need to be the one that takes advantage and maybe gives us the breakthrough. So to me, Robert Taylor is pivotal in this game because we may only get a couple chances, and it may be more likely than not that those chances fall to Robert Taylor. So we need him to have that bit of magic that he has every now and then and bring it all together because, yeah, he scored last match, but for all intents and purposes, it was a tap-in. There was no goalkeeper. All he had to do was hit it straight. And thankfully he did, because then we would have never heard the end of it. But if Taylor can make use of the space that's given to him, then I think we could be in for a really fun night. Just maybe not to the level that it was on Saturday, but we could be in for a very fun night. It would be a monumentous result if we were able to win in Nashville in our first CONCACAF Champions Cup match. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to continuing to see the growth in the chemistry. We talked about it a lot in the preseason, and it never seemed to really gel. It always felt a little bit off, but we really saw the potential in this last match. I'm hoping to continue to see that with obviously an integration of, at least to some capacity, a new player, because there's going to have to be a new player in this lineup, given that Yedlin's gone. So whether it's Gressel or whoever else Tata puts, I think Taylor will be pivotal. Obviously, this all goes without saying that Messi is going to be the most important player, because he can just unlock anything at any given point in time, whether it's finding a incisive pass, whether it's scoring himself. He obviously is the number one player, but this show would be very boring if all we did was talk about how Messi's the greatest player, because it's just a given. So we try to give a few different points of view, just to have something to talk about, because otherwise we just always talk about how great Messi is, and he is great. So with that being said, is there any player that you guys are looking at on the Nashville side that is like their player to watch, or our player to watch on their side?
Chris said it earlier. It's Tyler Boyd. I think he's got their biggest star right now, rising right now, and I think if anybody's going to make noise in this match for Nashville, it's Tyler Boyd. Aside from having a fantastic name, I think he's got to be the one that we all have to kind of keep our eyes on and zoned in to make sure he doesn't hurt us.
You should have said the player you came in with.
Yeah, boy.
Someone from Columbus. You know what I mean? That would have been way funnier. I'm looking at Schaffelberg just because when they did have success, it was off of him working the wings, crossing it into the box, and that's when I felt like they were way better. When he had the ball on his on his foot on the wing. That's what I think that's when they're most dangerous. The other person now for us, I'm looking at Redondo also. I know I had mentioned someone else, but we none of us mentioned him. I was like, man, I thought somebody was gonna mention him. I'm like, bro, if he gets on, like, that's gonna be fun. All right, Chris. Now he's already taken yours, so now you have to say something else. Hurry.
I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I hate when someone does it, like, wow, like you literally just took the one that he said, I'm gonna mention it later, or he's already reserving it, and then David comes in, cuts you right under your feet, figure it out. And not only did he do that, he went right before you, knowing you were gonna say it, and now you gotta just think on your feet, figure it out.
You can expand on it. I'm sure you have something.
You ruined it.
Well,
I'm not gonna change, and I'm not gonna expand. He's a player to watch. Unless Mukhtar plays or unless Sam Sturridge plays, then it's going to change this. But we're doing under the assumption that they're hurt, that they're not going to play. Because if they were playing, I would say probably Mukhtar. Mukhtar's the man on Nashville. But yeah, Tyler Boyd is right now their most dangerous weapon. He was very good for LAFC last season, and he has been decent for them on the first two matches that they've played. He had some nice moves this past week, and I forgot who they played against right now. but I did watch it the other day, and it was decent what I saw. So that's all I got. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys just leaving Zimmerman for me. That's very nice of you. You know, the Messi rule doesn't apply to him because
he's literally irrelevant, Julio.
He's good, but he's not Messi good. So I'm going to go with Walker Zimmerman as the very easy answer because, listen, Nashville's going to be defending a lot this match. Let's be honest. And he is the one player that can really shut down almost anyone on our team. So if he's at the top of his game, if he's in very good form in this match, it could cause a lot of problems. He can shut down short passes, long passes, balls on the ground, balls over the top, balls all over the place. He can really wreak havoc, not just on the defensive end, but on set pieces offensively. I remember watching the Leagues Cup match, and the very end of the match, I don't know if you guys remember, they had a couple corners at the very end that we were just very tight watching. And Zimmerman is an absolute menace on set pieces, on corners specifically. So to me, he is the most dangerous person on the field because he can stop us from doing what we need to do to win the game, but he can also go and win it at one of our most vulnerable points. And we've been better on set pieces this season so far, but we haven't come up against a team like Nashville when it comes to size, height, ability, like vertically. So to me, Walker Zimmerman is the most dangerous player on Nashville's team. And that may be a cop-out because he's maybe their best player that's available, assuming Mukhtar doesn't play. But Walker Zimmerman's the guy to watch. And with that being said, is Davestradamus in the building?
Yep. I forgot. I didn't know where the hat was. Yeah. Captain Davestradamus from the Icon of the Seas is here. Yeah. Miami is home of icons. That's a little fun fact. Yeah. This game also will be a non-compete for Miami. They're going to win this one 4-1. They will concede a goal in this one. But yeah, they're going to come away with 4 goals. It won't be close. This match, it'll be a late goal for Nashville, not Columbus. It'll be a late goal for Nashville, and yeah, we'll be cruising on this one. We'll be having a good time. We'll be cracking open beers. Everybody's going to be merry and bright, and it's going to be a great night.
I'm going to go with I'm feeling a 3-1 victory, Miami. They are going to score. I think our little streak of just 1 goal in whatever it is, 3 matches, is going to come to an end. I think Tyler Boyd is going to score the goal. In your face, David. And yeah, we're going to get 3 goals. Who's going to score? I think we're going to get another Luis Suarez goal. We'll get a Robert Taylor goal. And we'll get let's go with a Redondo goal, just to make it a little spicy. Outside the box, screamer.
I'm not putting my parlay on Redondo. I love him, but not that much. But yeah, I'm gonna probably say 3-1 and Miami wins, and I would say Luis Suarez gets on top again. I would almost say book it. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm booking it.
Also, if you have a gambling issue, please call the appropriate hotline.
Right. And I lost my parlay today with the Panthers, but that's fine.
So I am going to go with a 2-0, another clean sheet for Inter Miami. And the goal scorers will be Messi because he is inevitable, and Robert Taylor, who I think I would be remiss if I didn't say that Taylor would score after saying he's going to be my player to watch. But I do think that Schaffelberg will give us a lot of issues when either if he starts or if he comes off the bench as like a super sub, that will give us a lot of issues with his pace. He's super fast. We saw the kind of issues that Paintsill gave to us, that Peck gave to us in the Galaxy match. And Schaffelberg is going to be an issue because we have trouble with pacey wingers. And as pacey as they come. His hair's on fire when he comes onto the pitch. So we'll see if we have the fire extinguishers to put him out. But I do think a 2-0 win. I think our defense is improved with Freire. That is very contingent on who plays at right back. But if we have the right players out there, if we don't have a Robert Taylor at right back, then I think we'll come away with another clean sheet. I don't think Nashville have enough creativity in offense to give us too much to worry about. The only worry, again, would be on set pieces. But I think right now, with the way that we clicked against Orlando City, there has to be some remnants of that come into this next match. And yeah, another Inter Miami victory, another party time after the match here on the Heron Haeds channel. And yeah, do you guys want to do like first time of goal? No? Chris, anything to add then?
I have one more thing. If given the opportunity, does Campana hit the game winner on this one?
The biggest players shine brightest in the biggest moments. So yes.
I mean, the first goal of the game, that'll be the game winner.
You guys forget the last time he almost had a game winner?
Yeah, that's why I bring it up. That's why I
still wake up in a cold sweat thinking about that moment. But then he hit the penalty. Who cares?
What he could have been.
The point is moot.
No. What he could have been was
the statue. The statue would have been up at my house, and outside of Chase Stadium.
You would have been the statue would have been fully erect in Julio's house.
Julio was going to lead the Campana parade.
That's right. I drive up to the stadium every day just to ring the bell. So first goal, Jose. First goal is scored at what time?
I'll say Messi starts it off 10th minute.
I'll say Suarez gets first one at the 17th minute.
Yeah, I think Messi also is the first one to sort of break the deadlock, but I think it's going to come later. I think it's going to require a few moments of frustration brought by Nashville. So I'll say the 37th minute, Messi breaks the tie, and then Robert Taylor adds the second in the second half.
I'm going to say 6-minute goal, and it's going to be Gomez.
He's a scorer.
I like that. I like that one.
Yeah, you like that.
You like that?
All right, guys. So really quickly, I did want to just touch on the specific transfer news. So Jean Mota was the outgoing player. I don't think I specified earlier in this episode, but Jean Mota is on his way to the Brazilian League. I could not tell you what team he's going to, but he's on his way out. It was already officially announced by the club. They already did the whole like goodbye tweet. And that is how you know it's official, when the club tweets it. There hasn't been like an official statement from the club regarding the player from Paraguay whose name escapes me. But even so, when he arrives, it does, at least based on the stats and the amount of matches that he played, it does seem like he's more of a rotational piece, similar to Jean Mota. But he is a more attacking-minded midfielder, shifts a little bit to the right-hand side of the field. So maybe a rotational piece for Messi, maybe a rotational piece that's supposed to fill in for what Farias would have done. It's not going to be the same level. He's not the same level player as Farias, but it will be interesting to see how he gets rotated in. Obviously, we have other players that are much more highly regarded that have come in, like we've harped on a lot this episode with Federico Redondo. And we'll see if maybe by Thursday we have an answer long-term for our right back position, because I do think there is more incoming transfer news to come. We just haven't seen anything even strongly rumored at this point. So we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, Chris, anything to add? All right. Fresh out of ideas. Love it. Yep. That's how you know we're good, when there's nothing left to give. All right, guys. So from us here, thank you guys so much for tuning into the Heron Haeds podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. And we will see you Thursday night after the match for our live match reaction. Thank you so much to everyone who's here in the YouTube live. And for those of you listening on all other platforms, thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.